Yo, I tried making this video unscripted, but it's taken a lot longer than I originally thought, so I'm just gonna write it out to you. You read the title, you saw the thumbnail, you know what we're gonna be talking about. Companies that hate their own products. I'm talking like companies either trying to pivot their market, or trying to break into another extremely hard, or companies setting themselves up for failure by making purposefully bad decisions. Microsoft has done this multiple times in different ways with Xbox. The first time was with the Xbox One. When the Xbox One was first revealed and first coming out, they advertised it as an entertainment system more than a game console. For a game console company to shift their advertising from gamers to 40-year-old suburban white women and expect it to work, what were they thinking? The average family household isn't going to be watching a video game conference Xbox. Anyways, their advertising helped Xbox lose the console generation, to the point that it's still hurting them in the new console generation after beating PlayStation's ass with the Xbox 360. Speaking of the Xbox 360, a decent amount of the features they treated as new with the Xbox One's marketing was already being done by the 360. Being able to browse the internet, do voice calls, return to the game after being in the menu, the 360 did all of that. Moral of the story, people they needed to market to, their actual consumer base, barely got marketed to. Obviously, there's no problem for a company to try and bring a new group of customers to make more money, but if you're going to, they should never make their main customers feel alienated. Xbox has been leaning into being more of a game publisher than a game console company. According to IGN, in the Activision Blizzard acquisition case, Xbox themselves said they're betting more on game sales than console sales for making profit, which explains why they've been buying third-party game publishers, like Bethesda and Activision Blizzard. This is important to note not only because they're slowly following Sega, but also because it kinda looks like they don't know what they're doing. One of the most recent and horrible decisions I think they've made was shutting down Alpha Dog Games, Roundhouse Studios, Arcane Austin, and most importantly, Tango Gameworks. Alpha Dog Games made Mighty Doom a mobile game, which is a market they've been trying to break into. I genuinely don't know what Roundhouse Games made. Arcane Austin worked on Dishonored, Prey, and Redfall. Not that bad of a history, but Redfall was an insane stinker. And Tango Gameworks made the Evil Within series, Ghostwire Tokyo, and Hi-Fi Rush. There was just so much shit wrong with this decision. The email sent announcing the shutdowns stated Microsoft was prioritizing high-impact titles. To me, this immediately reads as they want more games that make a lot of money. Because a game that wins 5 different awards for just being that good doesn't have a high impact, I guess. The day after shutting down Tango, Matt Booty, the same guy who said the reason Tango was shutting down was for high impact titles, he said in a town hall, "We need smaller games that give us prestige and awards." Am I living in a fever dream, or is this guy just that incompetent at his job? You have a studio that did exactly that, and you shut them down? Not to mention, Xbox has been trying to get a foothold in the Japanese market for a while, and Tango was their one and only Japanese studio, and they shut it down. Then there's Arcane Austin, that had a great record until they graced us with Redfall, a game not even they wanted to make. The studio made up of single-player story-driven game developers got stuck making a live service multiplayer, because everything needs to be a live service multiplayer now. That's what the people want, right? This thing was a nightmare to produce. Employees hoped Microsoft would either cancel the game or let it be a single-player game, and allegedly 70% of veteran staff left. That's according to Bloomberg, but I'm not going to subscribe to them to find out. Obviously, the release was horrible and they got shut down. Redfall is most likely the reason why they got shut down with Tango. I don't think anyone's questioning why, because this one at least makes sense. I don't know why Alpha Dog got shut down. They made Mighty Doom, that mobile game. I don't know how it did since I never played it, and I'll never be able to play it since they took it down immediately. It was Microsoft's most popular mobile game until they acquired King when they bought Activision Blizzard. Candy Crush makes more money than Mighty Doom, so it just makes sense. Always forget where you came from when you make it. I'm gonna be honest, it's clear the reason why all these studios got shut down was because they didn't make the money Microsoft wanted them to. But what do they expect when they don't market any of their games? No one knew about Hellblade 2 because there was no advertising for it. Same with Hi-Fi Rush. Microsoft didn't care enough because they weren't Starfield or Call of Duty, but expected them to seed like they were. But they weren't even given the chance to, due to being out on Game Pass day one. What better way to set every game you make up for failure than with Game Pass? How long will it take Microsoft to figure out putting every game you make on Game Pass day one doesn't make you money from game sales? Because they recently announced Black Ops 6 is going to be on Game Pass day one, along with a price increase to Game Pass. Not only does this problem affect Microsoft, it affects indie games too. Indie devs have voiced their problems about Game Pass, with it causing less game sales being a big one. Microsoft themselves admitted that it leads to less game sales. So why are they still banking on it? One of the biggest changes they have to do to get game sales up is just to not put games on Game Pass day one and let them make their money first. I completely forgot to add this to the script, but Microsoft actually opened up a new studio called Elsewhere Games after closing down all those studios. A week after. That's just wild. Before we move on to the next one, why not subscribe? It only takes one click, and if you change your mind, you can always unsubscribe. Do the same with the like button, too. Getting back on track. YouTube is guilty of this too. It's a bit of a different situation than Xbox is, though. YouTube Red was YouTube's attempt to become television. Scare PewDiePie, MatPat's Game Lab, The Thinning, you get it. But probably the most major show to exist on YouTube Red was Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai was the most popular YouTube Red show. The only problem is it never really got popular, until YouTube sold the rights to the show to Netflix. Then it got popular. YouTube Red didn't really work, so they rebranded it to YouTube Premium, focusing on making the base YouTube experience worth paying for. They eventually got to break into the television market like they wanted to with YouTube TV. YouTube TV is literally just cable. The price is $73 a month. You can't tell me that isn't cable with that price. You know what, YouTube? Get out! I remember what I'm about to talk about to be a lot bigger. Either it got overshadowed by all the other things YouTube has done, or I'm just hallucinating. But I remember everyone talking about YouTube having a double standard and giving mainstream media special treatment over YouTubers. The only video I could find on this was from H3H3, talking about a situation where Casey Neistat made a video on a tragedy that happened in Las Vegas at the time. I don't know if I'm allowed to even say it still, but he announced he was giving all the money that video made to the victims, and YouTube demonetized it. Then they doubled down on their situation on Twitter, basically saying, "It still broke the rules, fuck you." Then people realized Jimmy Kimmel's video on the same topic was monetized. I don't remember if they demonetized it or Kimmel did, but there's no ads on it now. I also remember the trending tab was a big problem around this time, because YouTube would platform celebrities that weren't really trending over YouTubers who were. I think they did this during the pandemic too, where mainstream media was allowed to say whatever, but YouTubers would get demonetized or get their videos taken down for even mentioning it, which made YouTubers have to call it something else to avoid this. I really just don't get why YouTube would give special treatment to an industry that wants to see them fail, but then again, YouTube isn't known for making sense either. I learned a lot more from researching Warner Bros. Discovery. I had to research one thing they did, and it just branched off into another thing they did. Some I can't even include in the video, because they don't fit the topic of the video. Getting into it though, Warner Bros. Is in the pursuit for as much money as possible, so much that they fail at getting it. They axed 3 almost finished movies because they thought they wouldn't make money. These movies were Scoob Holiday Haunt, Batgirl, and Coyote v Acme. Batgirl had a stacked cast, with Michael Keaton, Brendan Fraser, and J.K. Simmons. Why was a stacked cast locked away to the Warner Bros. Vault? Allegedly, to use as a tax write-off. Scoob Holiday Haunt, a movie I didn't even know was being worked on, also got cancelled for a different reason. That being Warner Bros. Decided to do theatrical releases instead of HBO Max exclusive movies. Batgirl could have also been part of this, because they both got axed in August of 2022 when they made that announcement, and Batgirl was going to be an HBO Max exclusive too. Coyote v Acme also had the alleged tax write-off problem for why it was taken from us. Warner Bros. Just be wildin' about it though. They refused to release a movie like Coyote v Acme, a movie that people would be hyped for, because they've been wanting a Roger Rabbit type movie for a while, and instead we get dookie dog shit like The Flash and Black Adam. Speaking of dookie dog shit they'd rather release instead of actual good media, they immediately refused a Batman Beyond animated movie that was pitched by Dookie Demers, the visual development artist for the Spider-Verse movies. Easily one of the best animated movies to date. Now this could be like a Deadpool situation, where it gets approved because the public calls for it after seeing the concept. It did go from a no to a maybe, and I'm praying Warner Bros. Does approve it, because they need a win. Will they? Probably not. Staying on the topic of Batman Beyond, I found out a live-action movie with Michael Keaton was cancelled. The project was apparently dependent on The Flash to be successful, for some fucking reason. Why the f would Warner Bros. Put a movie people actually wanted, dependent on a movie doomed to fail? People already vowed not to watch it because of Ezra Miller being the main character, and they doubled down on it. Why the fuck does Warner Bros. Hate Batman Beyond so much? And why the fuck does Warner Bros. Hate Michael Keaton so much? HBO Max is Warner Bros. Main streaming service, and they love making as many bad decisions as Netflix with it. We can talk about shitty decisions like letting Velma get made, or we can talk about how Warner Bros. Removed a ton of shows, including originals, mainly animations, to where they were only accessible through piracy. So we're gonna talk about that one. Yeah, Warner Bros. Fucking did that. Infinity Train is a prime example of this happening, and it got removed despite being successful. They really hate animation for some reason. Most of the things they've removed are animated shows and movies. And overall, it's streaming. Why remove your own IPs and content? It's just artificial scarcity that not only hurts the creators of that project, but also Warner Bros. Themselves. Warner Bros. Took down a Lord of the Rings fan project named The Hunt for Gollum that's been on YouTube for 15 years. Then they announced their new Lord of the Rings movie, The Hunt for Gollum. They did put it back up after massive backlash, the only time they've ever listened. They also called them taking it down an error. This is just PR speak for we fucked up, but I can't give them too much shit for this since they fixed the problem for once. So what did we learn today? Companies aren't as smart as you think they are. When they want to tap into a new market or change their product focus, they can't really do it right. They alienate their customers for new ones, expecting them to stay, because I guess they forgot you actually have to keep customers when you have them. With Microsoft, they sold so hard selling consoles that they decided they want to be a game publisher, and now they're selling that too. YouTube was surprisingly successful, but only by making a product for a completely different customer, after failing to do it with their main customers. Some just make bad decisions in general, and double down on them. In Warner Bros. Case, they make one good movie, then absolutely destroy their fans' trust by doing the worst decisions known to man. Not every company is going to fail in this. It is possible to do. You just need to learn not to make the same mistakes as these three. Thanks for watching the video. Again, please like and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. That's all I got though. Later.